morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, November 24th, and we are in for new daily crypto news. So, we're going to talk about the state of the market that has been very, very bullish lately. We're going to talk about Ethereum 2.0 reaching the number of Ethereum being deposited in the deposit contract actually to launch the Beacon chain on December 1st. We're going to talk about Bitcoin finally hitting the front page of the Wall Street Journal and maybe it's announcing retail FOMO coming soon. And finally, we're going to talk again about Binance having some, let's say, doubts about how it's operating in the US and warning its US customers that they have 14 days to leave the exchange, probably fearing some retaliation from the regulator. So let's get to it, guys. So currently the market is sitting at $570 billion. Bitcoin is close to 19K. Ethereum crossed for a while the $600 mark, but went down a bit. And then we have other coins such as Ripple that went through the roof and are now correcting a little bit. So in the wrap, what do we have? We have, so of course, Bitcoin trending up, volumes being quite normal actually. No, not any, let's say, crazy volumes experience during the past few days. We've had, of course, the Bitcoin, like you can see the price just shooting up over the past months. And this is something important. This is quite interesting. This is actually OKEX withdrawal. You know, OKEX is under a regulatory probe from China, and withdrawals have not been permitted for a long time now, since I think it was November 18th or 17th. And therefore, they're saying that the price of Bitcoin actually shot up as soon as this withdrawal were prevented. So they're looking at it because there some people are just mentioning that maybe it went up because Chinese actual investors were not able to withdraw their bitcoins for fiat or other cryptocurrencies. BTC futures open interest all-time high. This is really good. BTC-ETH correlation is actually breaking. This is something to look at. But lately with ETH 2.0, Ethereum has its own narrative, but the correlation has been trending down. It's still over 70%. So let's not say they are uncorrelated, but the correlation is certainly less high than it was during the months of March or April. So that's it for the market wrap 2.0. So we had more than 25% of Ethereum needed that have been deposited over the last 24 hours. This is kind of crazy. It must have come from huge wells. And just to make sure people understand, this is not the launch of Ethereum 2.0. This is the launch planned on December 1st of the Beacon chain, which will be a chain running next to the current mining Ethereum chain, and just to test it out for a long period of time before we move to either an hybrid or a full proof of stake model. So really interesting, really a lot of expectations in the market for this Ethereum 2.0 that could solve a lot of issues that we experience during the DeFi craze. Bitcoin hits the front page of the Wall Street Journal, finally, some will say. So this is quite really interesting. It was on the front page next to the AstraZeneca and Oxford vaccine. So this is very, let's say, financial people will take notice of this. And we have also a video of a PayPal CEO on CNBC. It's in the links if you want to check it out. Just saying, as paper money slowly dissipates and disappears from how people use in transactions, central banks, especially on the retail side, will need to replace paper money with forms of digital fiat currency. And he also goes on with, of course, millennial trade. That I am one of these, prefer 10,000 of worth of bitcoins than 10,000 worth of gold. Finally, Binance. So a few days ago, if you remember, Binance announced that they were suing Forbes magazine for an article saying that Binance is just faking that they want to make a US subsidiary and just trying to milk the US customers and take the fees back home. And so right now, Binance has given 14 days for US customers. So they claim if you have been connected to the Binance website with US IP address, basically you probably receive one of these email and you have 14 days to positions. in order to comply with the new rules. It just shows to me that they are quite worried after what we've seen with BitMEX. They're quite worried the regulator might come hard on them, and therefore they prefer to cut the ties to US customers, at least for a while, until they can settle something that will be fully compliant, um, instead of being completely banned and seen as the bad guy in the US. So this is all for today. Basically, a bunch of positive news. Price action has been incredible. Be careful because the volatility is going up. But I hope you're enjoying some nice gains, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye bye, guys.